Hello, this is Coco and Verticum. I don't really have any opening liners about the series on videos on this channel. I just do what feels right, and so it is what it is at this point in time. I don't know, maybe I might up my production game, but really, I'm not here to throw bells and whistles at you. I'm here to have a conversation. There are a lot of people who aren't willing to open up and talk candidly about very touchy subjects, and I love doing that. I love to talk about those things because it means growth in me. I get to hear somebody else's opinion and talk about things that they care about that are really pivotal for them. And I think that the community needs more of that and a lot less bells and whistles, you know, as far as communication goes, per se. But I am here at the Grove Community, sorry, not community, sorry, the Grove Country Club Estates. It's quite beautiful here. It's majestic and it's peaceful. And hey, I'm even going to be attending the photography classes that start that they have every Saturday at 12. So I'm I'm looking forward to that. But enough of all that stuff. I want to talk about expectations. Okay, so there are all different types of quotes about how having expectations makes you unhappy and kind of downgrades the quality of happiness in your life. Um, and then there are quotes about judgment and how you shouldn't at all be judgmental because it does the same thing, you know? It really doesn't help your life. It just kind of isolates you because you alienate yourself from others by being overly so if you're too judgmental. Or I've heard people say I'm not judgmental at all. Let me offer that everyone is judgmental because judgment is how you move through your life. And you judge things. You judge, I venture to say, you judge more than 20 times a day. And I'm being extremely generous because everything from how much sugar you put in your coffee to if you want to take a route to work or not to are you going to send this email or are you going to call them is a judgment based on what evidence you have around you. So judgment is a part of our lives, our everyday, minute to minute, dare I say, in some instances, second to second existence. So that whole idea of not being judgmental is just I think something that people place in their head so that they can kind of lie to themselves and make it seem like, oh, I'm this easygoing person who's not going to analyze you and decide on how to move around you. Because I don't need to do that. I accept people exactly as they are, which that is a judgment call in and of itself. But everybody judges, you know. So I think it's kind of like this whole I'm a people person thing. That's not necessary. So you have don't know you shouldn't have expectations because you know you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be disappointed with or without expectations. To be quite honest, that's how life is. So strike one, two. Now everybody has expectations. All adult relationships has some type of expectations. When I say adult, you as an adult, you have expectations of everyone you deal with. Even if it's I come in the room and say hello. You said hello and there's somewhat of an expectation that someone is going to acknowledge you. So that is an expectation. Um and you pay your light bill, you expect for when you flip the switch the light to come on. That's an expectation. You took your time and made this delicious dinner and the seasoning is on point. It's smelling like ooh, it's fantastic. You're salivating. You expect that meal to be delicious. I don't see why it is that people say that they have no expectations. But anywho, so I want to talk about, in particular, expectations in relationships where they're, I'm not going to say they're, okay, let's talk about I'll provide maybe three different types of relationships. You have a relationship that's just surface. There's not a whole lot going on. There's no need for a whole lot of judgment. Um, um, those are casual relationships. It's about fun. You're just having fun. You're not thinking too deep on anything. Those are casual. People like to get upset because you label a relationship casual because there's not a whole lot of judgment and expectation. But the less judgment and expectation that you have in a relationship or a connection, it means that there's a lot less longevity or there's a lot less depth within it. You have no projection, you have no planning, you have no meaning to take this too far anywhere in any direction. So it is, in fact, a casual relationship. Okay. Then you have, let's say, the medium. You have fun, you kind of play things a little loose, but you sit and have deep conversations every now and then. You it's not a secret or anything that you're dealing with this person. Y'all are having fun, but it has its limitations. You're not really claiming them like that, but you fucks with them. You good. Y'all cool. This relationship has a little bit more judgment, a little bit more discernment. You start to expect a little bit more from this person. You expect for them to consider your feelings a little bit more. Maybe, remember certain things. Those are expectations, and they're logical for the type of relationship that it is. Absolutely. All right? You have the third kind. You are committed to this person, whether it's in friendship or whether it's in romance, or, and you celebrate each other's special days. You speak to each other almost every day, or you speak to each other frequent enough to say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And when you say "How are you doing," you're not saying, "Oh, just hey, how you doing?" just to hear it. You are asking, "Really, how are you feeling today? How are you truly doing? I want to know." You ask about family and all those good things. You dig deeper into the meaningful things of this person, and you become connected to it, and you care by virtue of your care for them. That's a very impactful relationship. That relationship has higher expectations in it. Period. There is no way to skirt that. No way whatsoever. And I find it very interesting in me getting to this point, because this is where I want to hammer it down. This is where people get upset when you have judgments about them and make judgments, or speak on judgments that you've made about them, or have certain heavy expectations of them. You've spent time with this individual, and you've learned things about this individual. And often, sometimes, they know themselves well, but sometimes there are things that a person will lie to themselves about that another person can see, because they're able to kind of step out of the fray of their own mind. They're in their mind and not that person's mind, and they can see things that that individual cannot see. Um, in those types of deep relationships, you can see where it is that a person might want, or like have a yearning to grow. And they might have even hinted to it in discussions and whatnot. And also the way that they want to grow, that you see them wanting to grow, is appealing to you, and part of the reason why it is that you continue to deal with them. So what do? You start to form expectations. And you're like, okay, I like where this person, where their mind's going. It looks like this could be good, and could be good, great for both of us. And they have those same types of projections onto you because they're not looking at your relationship as if it's partially casual or that it's fully casual. They expect for you to be there, and they move as if such. And so when you have these expectations for someone to step into a better version of themselves or seek to move into that for the betterment of you both and your connection, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, especially given the type of deep connection that this relationship is. But there seems to be a lot of people who resent someone having expectations of them stepping into their growth. Someone in a discussion that I attended, a relationship discussion that I attended, said, "When I place expectations on you, it is a gift to you. It is because I am telling you, hey, I would really like this from you. And I see that it's something that you yourself have the capability of stepping into and becoming, and really embodying, and it will be beneficial for you too. I'm not asking you based on just what I want, but on something that I really feel and see in you that you may want too." And so I'm coming to the conclusion that people who don't like those expectations are actually choosing to be complacent in their growth, and they resent you for reminding them of that. That is that is what I am. That's where I have settled. Um I think it's good to be honest about that sort of thing. Hey, you don't want to grow and be a better person for yourself in this way, let alone for anyone else. Cool. Wouldn't it be a lot easier for you to just say that instead of play around with it, toy around with it, or whatever, and or just kind of like shrug it off and be like, whatever? Because ultimately it impacts and corrodes the relationship that you have. That you're kind of just like sidestepping it and ignoring it, or pretending like it's not there, gaslighting the person into believing that, or trying to gaslight a person into thinking that these aren't reaches that ultimately you would love to make, but you're not really acknowledging that you're doing everything you can to kind of step away from that. It even goes with, hey, I'm really, our relationship is transitioning from casual to, somewhat serious, and then happens from somewhat serious to very serious. There are people who don't want titles, people who don't want to acknowledge certain, things, don't want to talk about, like, hey, we're in a relationship, and we both like it open. Maybe we should consider ourselves open poly. Let's talk about those steps. It's a lot of work to really iron out things in such a way that's beneficial to both parties within a seriously committed relationship, whether it is, again, like I said, platonic or romantic. And I think it boils down to people not wanting the accountability, and it being another thing that they have to think about and consider when they don't really want to do that. They want all of the wonderful kickbacks of really in depth, really close relationships, but just don't want to put forth the effort to maintain the beauty of it, you know? And that's not fair. That's not fair. I just wanted to kind of walk through that and talk about those things. So, in summation, expectations are a good thing, especially when employed responsibly. And judgment is a good thing, especially when employed responsibly. No, we're not talking about harsh judgments that are wild and crazy and diminishing of people, but the ones that help to kind of move the trajectory of a relationship in a positive way. Same thing with expectations. So, in summation, it's bullshit when people say you shouldn't judge and have no expectations. It's bullshit. So, thank you for coming to Coco's little TED Talk here. And yeah, shout out to the Grove Country Club. Beautiful. You should come here. And I hope y'all have a great day. Be well. Toodaloo.